Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you how you can improve battery life on Motorola Edge 50 Ultra. If you want to keep your battery in a healthy state for as long as possible, then here are some tips that you can use in order to do exactly that. So the first thing that I want to cover is those four options that we can see at the top. So we have the Wi-Fi, the mobile data, the Bluetooth, and of course the location. Now, usually when we enable those options, we keep them on for pretty much forever. And of course, this uses our battery quite a bit. So if you don't use those services or those features, then it is recommended to turn them off. If you, for instance, don't use navigation or when you don't need to use the location, it is recommended to turn it off. And the same goes with Bluetooth. If nothing is enabled, if nothing is connected to your device, then just disable Bluetooth and turn it back on when you need it. If you don't use mobile data, just turn it off, and when you are not at home or when you don't have access to any Wi-Fi and when you don't use Wi-Fi, then simply turn it off as well. So to keep it, to summarize it, just use those features only when necessary and only when really needed. If you don't use them at a specific moment, you can simply turn them off. Now the next thing is of course the battery settings, and this is where we have most of the things that we can do in order to keep the battery in a healthy state. So for instance, we can start using the battery saver. We can just use even the standard battery saver and we can create a schedule for it. So we can improve battery when we are inactive. We can turn on the battery when the battery level is set to a specific percentage. You can also turn off the battery saver when you charge the device and when you reach 90%, and you can also enable and disable reminders about them. Then we can also go back, and over here we have the adaptive battery that limits battery for apps that you don't use too often. Then you also have the charge boost, which is, well, a bit confusing for some, I would say, because there are two schools of thought. Some say that the boost of the charger may use the battery more, and some people say that it doesn't really do anything. In this case, it is stated that when the charge boost is enabled, then the phone will optimize charging by safely boosting charging speed. So we can pretty much be assured that in this case the charging process is optimized when you use charge boost, and it is done in a safe way. And of course, as a drawback, the device will heat up when you use the charge boost. So at least this is well, we have at least an option to speed up the charging process, and we can do that in a safe way apparently. Then we also have two options that we can use only one at the same time. So we have optimized charging and we have the charge protection. Now which one you should use? If you tend to leave the device connected to the charger all the time, like pretty much all the time, then it is recommended to enable overcharge protection. Over here, of course, you can also read the description about this feature and how it works. But generally speaking, if you use the charger all the time, then you should use overcharge protection. And if you only charge it when really needed, then you probably want to use the optimized charging, which uses AI to learn the pattern of your charging processes. And once again, we can read a little bit more about this feature over here. So after that, we have covered every battery setting that is important to know about when we are talking about the improvement of the battery life. And the next thing that I want to show you is in location. So in location, we can go to location services, and over here we have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth scanning. Over here we can enable and disable the scanning of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and it is especially recommended to turn them off in order to keep the battery in a healthy state, especially when we don't use these features always, just like it is the case with those options over here. So only when necessary we should be using the scanning of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and most likely when there is a situation where these options should be enabled, you will be notified about it and you will you will have the option to simply turn them on. Now, last but not least, there's one more thing that you can do, and that is change the display refresh rate. Of course, you can use the auto option in order to use the optimized way of increasing the refresh rate. So you pretty much always use 144 or 120 Hertz screen refresh rate, unless there is a situation where you should be using less, like when the device is overheating, then it drops down to 60. But if you really want to keep the battery in a healthy state for much longer, then you can restrict yourself to 60 Hz refresh rate. Of course, no one really buys devices like these to when we have 144 Hz refresh rate to use 60 Hz refresh rate. So you'll probably still want to keep it at auto. However, I just want to mention that there is an option that helps you keep the battery in a healthy state, and this is just one of them. And I'm not forcing you, of course, to use it. I'm just showing you an option. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next videos. Bye!